How are you, Danny?
I'm great. I'm here in New York.
Tell us exactly where you are.
Right now I'm in Long Island City, Queens, which is the border of Manhattan and Brooklyn, and I can see the 59th Street Bridge from my window, so I'm tri-borough.
And you're in your famous loft, correct?
Yeah,
Or a division of your very large loft.
it's very large. That's why I was hoping to make the laptop work so I could just walk through to my main desk, because right now I'm sitting at Kevin's desk in this office here, but I was going to take you down the hallway to where I usually sit.
Okay, well, I'm sorry you're not in your favourite chair, but
yeah, we tried to make it work though.
We did this little video last year with David Lynch. I think you saw the video, and when I read this your very famous post, myself and Pete, we were talking about, should we try the Lynch idea with you and try and get you on the video, because we knew you wouldn't get on the plane, right?
Well, I was scheduled to work. I had many other prior commitments this weekend, the EDC festival, and it just wasn't a good time for me to come there.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, I think this is a very topical and very sort of time-sensitive story in a way. So we just wanted to have this opportunity to talk to you. And to be honest, when I called Kevin, your manager, I said to him that, I think a lot of people at the IMS would love to just hear from you about your statement and about where you're going to go to next and about what your plans are. And I think also to maybe correct a sort of few people's misconceptions of what you said. It was there in black and white, but people seem to have misunderstood some of it.
Yeah, I'm happy to do this, and I'm really honored that you're, having me be a part of this in order to rectify what some of the confusion is, because it was a very spontaneous post from me.
Yeah.
Had I known it was going to be a bit out of control, I probably would have been much better choice of my words, but it was just a rush situation. It was an emotional situation for me, and I just felt the urge it was a now or never thing. Either say it now or you're just going to carry on for a few more years, who knows.
Well, look, I mean, if it's okay with you, I'm just, because not everybody in this room may have seen the post, I'm going to pull out a few sentences from it and just ask you about some of the things that you've said. I mean, you begin, brilliantly with your please, just let me be. The time has come for me to finally be myself, which for people in this room who've danced to your records for the last 20 years, is quite a power. We were like, wow, what's coming next? So just tell us what was going through your mind the day that you issued this statement.
Well, I have to start by telling you the most interesting thing was that the music that was playing in my background as I was typing this post, it wasn't like a pre-crafted in text edit or an email. I literally was on my way to meet someone, a gym appointment or something, and I just started typing, and the Beatles song came on, Let It Be. And I just found it, not by coincidence that you hear them saying, when I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, everything with me is be this, be that, be yourself, be yourself. So I kind of put that in at the top as I was almost done. Just let me be, because I'm just, humorous that way. But I guess subliminally there might have been for sure some messages with that, in the sense of I'm always telling people, be yourself. And with me, it's become hard because, as many of you know, I never really got into this business to be a superstar DJ. That never even existed so many years ago. The whole traveling, and my big dream was to go from Brooklyn to Manhattan. I couldn't even think further outside of big nightclubs in the city, because that was the peak. And then I had gone traveling all over the world, and the peak of so much of this for me was in Ibiza, playing at Space and Posh and all the clubs, and then going out on my nights off and having a great time, but then it became too much of the celebrity thing, and it started to smother me, that I was not able to go out and enjoy myself anymore with too much attention, not being able to go to the dance floor or the cameras and, people trying to whisk me into VIP areas, and it just became like mini interviews with every turn. When are you coming back? When are you going to play again? And it's like I couldn't enjoy myself no more in a club. So that started to affect me really deeply because that's been my joy.
Well,
So if the only time I could enjoy myself in a nightclub was while I was in the DJ booth playing, then that's not very social at all.
yeah.
So that's part of it, but I could continue.
Well, there's two parts to the next statement that I was going to read,
Right.
which says airplanes, airports, hotels, foreignisms. To a lot of people, that would be the joys and the best job on the planet. Have you just tired of that whole lifestyle? Is there an element of that? The second part of it, you talk about smelling the roses of my life and grow up and be who I really am. But tell me about the planes and the airports and the hotels, because you were famously somebody who never liked flying anyway, right?
Well, when I was a young teenager, very young, like 14 to 15, the first time I ever flew with family from New York to Orlando, it was a very scary flight. Thunder, rerouting the plane, and that stayed with all of us in a way. It was our first time on a plane, and it almost felt tragic, lightning and all that. I mean, that was the 70s. Technology's changed so much. But I did definitely have a fear of flying for many years. And I did fight that fear, obviously, but I never got over flying, the fear of flying in small aircraft or in light, going up in a bad weather sky. Like I've always pretty much, unless it was a scheduled event, if I'm going back and forth from New York to Miami or, wherever I might be going, I will always check the weather first. And now it's not only for the reasons of turbulence or, the fear of it being scary up there in that type of weather. It's because of the delays, traffic, or canceled flights, or rerouting to different airports, abort landing. That's happened to me like 4 times. LaGuardia Airport is one of the smallest airports in the world, and 3 times I recall having to go right back up into the sky. The wheels touch the ground, and your heart is in your, So yeah, there was that essence of fear of flying, but no, it's not the flying at all that has persuaded me to talk about taking this time off. It's just the time of can you see me?
Yeah.
Of spending away from home between New York and Miami. It really has been overwhelming, and really, it has not really given me much of a personal life, a social life. I've missed so many events with family, whoever might have gotten married, not in the immediate family, like my brothers and their kids, but christenings, baptisms, weddings, cousins, anniversaries, and especially the holidays. Those are the big days for us DJs to be on the road, whether it's New Year's, Thanksgiving, 4th of July weekend. I'm always on the road. And they understood all these years, my family. They were very proud. They're very proud of me. But I started, after my mom and my aunts passed away in 2008, I approaching 50 years old. I guess I just started softening up and getting more emotional about it. Because now with the travel, especially going back to these countries time and time again, you go to, whether it be Ibiza, London, Italy, Singapore, Tokyo, Australia, you go there 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. I've lost count at how many times I've been to Italy, Ibiza, and the UK, touring, London, Scotland, Ireland. And what the main thing that keeps me going back there, and I swear to you, it's not money. It's the people and the love, because the generations keep changing. So every time you go back, you see a whole new different audience. So it's almost like as if you've never been there before. But who are we kidding? I'm 51 years old now, and it's going to start taking a toll on anybody.
But were you still, whilst you've been feeling this way, and I don't know how many years it has been that you've started to feel this, have you still been enjoying the clubs that you've been doing? Do you still love being in the booth playing those records, or has that changed for you as well?
I'm so glad you're asking me this question right now, because I just arrived this morning from Canada, and I'm just so, I'm always validated every time I play in a proper nightclub like that, that by far this is my purpose. I can never quit. I will do this until the very last breath. What is changing for me is today's situation with festivals and stages and concert type things, and going far away to play somewhere for 90 minutes, or even if it's nearby. Again, it's not about the money, it's about the journey. And it just amazes me that some people, no matter what they're offering, but sometimes it's very lucrative, and all they want you for is 90 minutes. And I just don't comprehend this. It's not the way.
We're down with that. I can recall dancing to you for 27 hours once in Miami, and no lie, I was there for 27 hours, so I'm down with that.
I could still do it, Ben, and I still will. I just played for 12 hours at Stereo in Canada on Sunday night. It's their holiday weekend, and the people are still there, and they still want more. And I could probably still do more, but you know when it's time to stop. But when I wake up, I still have this adrenaline in me, like I'm ready to go back. And I'm not even lying. I've done it before. I was like, let's open the doors again. I'm still here, because what else am I going to do? I don't want to go look at the old port or go on the Wonder Wheel, or I'm not there to be a tourist. I'm there to make people happy with music, and that brings me joy. And that's my thing. That's what I want to continue doing.
Danny, it's Pete. I've got a question for you. I always thought you were an installation, like you were a tourist attraction. People would come and see you. Do you think America's missing something in the sense that, those great clubs like you played at Space in Miami, and your iconic residencies where you would kind of hold court and take people on this incredible journey. Do you think? Are you sad that doesn't exist now in this kind of new boom?
100%, Pete. I'll tell you, I was thinking about some of the things that I might bring up in my mind with some of the questions you're asking me. And I wanted to say that not only was it just the stages and the platforms and the arenas and festivals with different tents and all this different stuff going on, and even the musical styles that are coming through, but it definitely has been since 2004, 8 years ago, when vinyl closed. I was there every Friday for a little bit over 5 years, and that was the end. That was the end of the official residencies that I've held in New York since 1980, let's say. Even when I was just a kid, 20 years old, working in a roller disco, I was there 3, 4, 5 nights a week, and that's what was always proper to me. And the DJs that I looked up to, it was very much similar. You would hear Jelly Bean at the Funhouse, David Mancuso at the Loft, Tony Humphries at Zanzibar, Larry Levan at the Garage, and every DJ had their spot. And that was my dream, was to have my spot in New York. And eventually I got it. Twilo, Tunnel, and then ultimately Vinyl, which was my favorite. But then it all started changing. It started branching out in a rave mentality, and then it just went haywire with, the flyer had not 1 or 2 DJs on it, then it was like a list of DJs, which I think is fine too. But now we are crushed with, there's no more residencies like the way it used to be. So I miss it deeply, and that definitely was a turning point for me. And again, I remind you, like, even then, I was now into my 40s, almost 45, and anybody that's over 40 now and approaching 50, it's a nature. You feel it. You feel like, wow. Because people constantly remind you too.
You look fit though, Danny. You got
to keep coming, the big 4-0, the big 5-0. You're like, shut up.
Tell me about it.
In your statement, you go on to say in big capital letters, "How am I ever going to properly resign?" in brackets, not retire. Why do you think people have completely misunderstood this email? Because you're pretty clear that you've not retired.
Right. I think because of my my wonderful relationships with my coworkers, especially my manager, best friend, Kevin, you all know Kevin McHugh. We've been working together like this. Like, I've never been part of a DJ agency. I never owned a record label, the whole publicist kind of stuff. It's always just been us two up in this office and taking on the DJ bookings. And sure, we work with some agents overseas, but we've never really branched out into anything massive with it. And I always felt like, besides him and other people that work up here with us, Alex Perez and Sebastian and Berchin, that if I was to step down and start consolidating and taking on less gigs, then how is this going to affect them and their finances? And, because I feel like in many ways it's like a parental thing. Well, not so much with Kevin, but with the other guys. And I love them, and I'm concerned about how they're going to pay their rent, and, what would happen if I can't afford to pay them no more. So, but now I was sacrificing a lot of my personal joy by saying, oh yeah, well, if I take that gig in Vegas or somewhere, then that'll, justify this person's salary for a whole year. And then you start juggling it in different ways. But then it brings me to a stage or a platform. Well, once I get there, I'm like, why am I here? Why am I here? Why am I at this gig? So there have definitely been some gigs that I wish I was not at, because things go wrong and the sound is wrong. And like, I would like to talk for a minute about perfect example being Winter Music Conference. This was my 26th year in a row participating, having only missed the first year. And as you all know, it's like that's such a big part of my success is being recognized at the Winter Music Conference. But now even that has gone branched outside the nightclubs, from where I started at Cheers, Groove Jet, Space, whatever it might be. Now it's all the pool sides. So it's got this little bit of a Las Vegas mentality going on, selling bottles and tables. And then, okay, that's fine and all too, okay. But once the police come and stop me or change the levels and nobody could feel it and everybody's looking at me, I swear to you, with all my honesty, my attitude is like, I don't care if they were offering me $100,000 or $200,000 right now. I don't want it. Keep the money, get me out of here. I don't want to do this no more.
Do you
So
think, sorry, do you think there's any way back for this scene? Do you think it's gone too far in America? Can it come back to that era, that New York residency vibe that you had?
It's sad to say, but I really don't think at any time soon, because the way that music and pop music and commercial music and how, somewhere between, it's the way the generations keep changing every 2, 3, 4 years. You get the old time clubbers that want it to be the way it used to be, but then you get the new kids that are coming through, and they're the ones that are pretty much paying the bills more than anybody, because the old timers, they all find a way to get in on guest list and stuff. And so it's the younger mass audiences that really do bring in the coins. But I think the young audiences are the ones that were raised on, let's say, the differences between hip hop and trance. That's the youth of today. So for them to come through and really want to have this great big underground nightclub like they have in Stereo, or like you might have at Ministry or Fabric or Berghain and places in Ibiza, we do not have that in New York. I really do believe that Vinyl was the last venue, and Sound Factory as well. The Post Factory, Vinyl, Twilo, Sound Factory. Once those closed, there was no really turning back. And I give love and respect to Pasha. It's a great club. They do great by me. I do great by them. It's all wonderful. But it's become like a universal global club where, unlike what we're talking about with having that consistency, one week it could be me, next week it could be Martinez Brothers, David Guetta, Steve Aoki, all of that coming through, Afrojack, Chucky, and then local DJs, Mind Control, Victor Calderon. And it's not consistent anymore.
But is it not down, well, you've made your decision, or you've made a part decision here. Is it not about you potentially starting something again in New York and doing something really small and going back to how it was the way you used to do it? Is it not that simple, or you just don't want to be doing that every week of the year?
No, I don't think I would want to do it every single week, but I would consider being a part of it, like maybe hosting it. I don't think I would want to lock into a weekly event, and because people expect the all-nighters from me. And, you know, I don't want to be in a nightclub every week because I I take it so personally. I work so hard at preparing for these events that the hardest work is preparing and going through the music and putting the playlist together and putting those files through flash drive keys and going in my studio and doing special edits. It's so draining because I approach DJ gigs like productions, like a performance, like there's going to be a stage and it's going to be a show, and it's not just me going in there and just whipping up, you know, the 25 records from my pocket. I really prepare because people expect from me that journey that I could possibly go from deep house, tribalistic kind of stuff, techno, the journey. And I have to go through thousands of records, and then I'm still obsessed with the new ones, hearing all the new stuff that comes on my desk, whether it be the digital promos, Beatport purchases, track source, whatever it might be. So I work so hard, and this is where the 90-minute stuff comes in. Like, you got to be kidding me! It's over. I didn't even get to play this, or that. So I take it too seriously. So for me to do every week, I'd be into doing it, but not every week, and I would like maybe be part of hosting it. But I'm interested in doing something else. You know, I think that now something that, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't say it, but I guess I'm just going to say it, maybe help make the dream come true. I've been up at this Loft for 10 years now. In 2002, I purchased the sound system for vinyl when they switched over to ARC, and Mike Bindra and his partners put in a Steve Dash audio system. So I wound up getting the system that was the original Shelter vinyl body and soul sound system, and that's what's up here at my Loft. And that's what prompted me to rent this place. And all these years, I've never made any revenue through the doors here because I didn't open up to be like a nightclub. It's not zoned for that. But I kept thinking, what else can I do? What can I do to make money up here besides going to do these DJ gigs? Because, you know, I have a place in Miami, a staff, a car. DJ gigs are good pay, but it's not, you know, like with the kind of money that maybe great DJs like Tiesto are getting. That's a whole different ballgame. And so I thought about many times over the years, maybe I should open up a DJ school and do.
Call back on this.
Oh, I think Kevin got it working on the other computer, so I can take these on a tour of the Loft.
Okay.
All right, so, but let me finish what I'm saying here about the opening up a DJ school. I had suggested it and talked about it with close friends, and everybody thinks it's a great idea, but then I realized how much that would take from me, similar to like opening a record label. If I started a record label or even slash DJ agency, that would take so much time away from me, focusing on me being a DJ and an entertainer and go through all the music. And then I really have no time to do anything else at all.
Yeah.
So I put that on a back burner. And again, I had some crisis in the family, 2008. Then I went out and bought some compulsive shopping condominium here locally in Long Island City. And that was a big mistake. I lost a lot of money. And so the only thing I could do was to continue performing on the road to get my finances back up. So everything like the DJ school was put on hold. And then New York City, almost 6 years ago, opened up a school called Dub Spot on 14th Street in New York City. And it's an incredible thing. It's branched from the first floor to 4 stories. And the owner, Dan Glove, is a wonderful person. They have like 30 teachers now. They went from 2 courses to like 30 courses, Logic, Reason, Ableton, mastering, all that stuff. And great admiration of it. And I think that that's something that I would also love to do, is to just keep giving back in a way that, you know, that's not locking me into a dark nightclub, smoky, fog, and, you know,
but
single week.
You do you do say in this thing that you were going to have to, your finances mean you're going to have to let the Loft go. Is that the case? Are you actually going to let go of this thing you built? That
was what was going on in my mind when I was posting those words that day, because I wasn't really seeing any light in the tunnel except DJ gigs. And I felt like my life was like I was being chased by a calendar, like one big giant calendar.
Yeah.
It's something. Oh,
It's the
can
DJ
you
nightmare. That.
okay, like can you come to Ibiza for this festival? Or can you come to ADE or this? And like you look at the calendar, like no, I'm in Boston that weekend or whatever. So, and this is what has affected me greatly with the traveling so much is that I've always had a schedule. And the second part of this too is that when you're doing events like people, this status do with the touring, is that they want to know an average sometime of 6 months in advance. And if they ask me in January if I want to play, let's say Vegas in July, I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to feel, 6 months later, even if it's 3 months in advance. So I was really starting to get affected by, some of the travels, not all of them. Some of them I really still look forward to going to, including Ibiza and a lot of Europe. But
Yeah.
when it started to be places where you need security, like I love Mexico. I've been there many times, and so many wonderful cities in Mexico. But the last time I was in Mexico City, they had 3 cars behind me or 2 cars with, lights on. I was like, if I need security and it's getting like this, then I don't want to come back here.
Yeah.
This is not comfortable.
You say that there's some of the wording in here that you wish you changed, but tell me how you felt when you pressed send.
I couldn't believe I did it. It was because it would just take me back to like, I knew that, I'm a very spiritual person. And I really do pray a lot. And, God has definitely blessed me since I'm a little boy with this career. I haven't asked my family for a single penny since I was like 22 years old. And, I just got DJ gigs and that's all I've ever done. And I've never given them trouble, school, fights, the law. I've really been blessed with this career. And so thinking back on that post when I hit send, I just kept thinking how this was going to affect all of the people around me, my coworkers and my family, and financially, and saying, all right, well, if I have to get rid of the Loft, then I'll get rid of it because this is starting to affect my peace of mind, my emotions, my joy. It was the knowing that I had a gig to travel to was affecting my personal joy. I wasn't enjoying everyday life anymore because I felt like, oh, I got to do this gig. I got to do this gig. Whether it was going to be a good gig or not, it was still haunting me. The traveling and the packing and the airports and the airplanes and the hotels and check in, check out. And when I say foreignisms, I mean, I only speak English. I'm Italian, but I was raised here in New York and we didn't learn it in school and I didn't know my grandparents. So every time I go somewhere, you rely on translators. And I keep trying to lock into a resolution every single year in Miami with diet, exercise, and fitness. I keep joining gyms. And then once I come back to New York around March, for my birthday or April, then it all goes out the window. I lose the consistency. And that's such a big word with me. I'm not able to be consistent being an active touring DJ. So
Okay.
I'm trying to get a grip on that.
I think one of the things that I think shocked people the most, or the reason I think it was shocked, is because we are all like the Pied Pipers in this business, right? We're all supposed to just keep going and having fun till the day we drop. And you're one of the people who sort of seemed to have put the brakes on and said, hang on a minute, there's another way to live this life. Do you think there are other DJs of your sort of age who you think are unhappy in what they're doing?
I'm not sure. I mean, I think it would definitely be something to do with DJs that are probably over 40 and especially closer to 50. And when you've been doing this for 2-3 decades, it's sort of like, I think I've described it. I might have said my words, I've seen the mountaintop, something like that. And I've told people this many times, even over the past several years when the whole internet explosion thing started happening with things like DJ Mag, with who's the top #1 DJ, who's the top 10, and then eventually it became an online voting thing, and people were taking that a little bit too seriously. And I was like, this is not a competition, this is not an Olympic sport, and there's no higher I can go as a DJ if you want to talk about, awards that you've been giving me, Dance Star Awards, a Lifetime Achievement Award, Pasha Awards, Winter Music Conference Awards, Grammy nomination, and rewinding on the DJ magazine, and when you guys were at Music Magazine, when you had that in existence, you just had me at #1 in the top 50 in Music Mag. I don't know if it was like 2002 or somewhere like there. And like 2003, we were doing some research in the magazines. I was #3 in DJ Magazine. It was like Sasha Digweed and myself. And that was such a big honor for me, but it wasn't something I was trying to achieve. Oh, what I'm going to be like #40 next year. I'm going to be #20 next year. You'll see, I'm going to be top 10. I didn't care. That's not what my goal was, to see how far I can achieve. I'm not better than nobody, and nobody's better than me. But that's where this all started to go in a lot of ways with some people. And I think people over 40 that have been doing this for a couple of decades, without a doubt, they must be getting tired. It's very, very similar to me. I just can't speak for them.
Let's ask Pete quickly.
I'm just insane. I'm actually we're hosting a dinner tonight, Danny, for Carl Cox,
Right.
who's around about the 50 mark, who's actually been DJing for 38 years. So what about a question from you to him? What would you ask him?
Oh, you know what? I adore Carl so much. He just had me once again as his guest at the EDC Festival on Saturday here in New Jersey at the MetLife Stadium. It was massive. And
because his enthusiasm knows no bounds.
yeah, I think of all the DJs that are my contemporaries, colleagues, he's the one I probably relate to the most. I think because, I don't know, I just sense the energy in him, the passion, that, he's not, that even if he is getting tired in some ways, that he doesn't see any time, in the near future of stopping. But I would think by nature, he too might want to like slow down a little bit, because he's got so much more going on than me. I can't even imagine. He's got the bees every week and lives in Melbourne, and he's a monster. I love it.
I'll tell him.
And I want to congratulate him. I'm proud of him, and I think it's just incredible how devoted he's been all these years to being a DJ and making people happy. And I applaud him. Yay, Carl.
Okay.
So congratulations to Carl. But yeah, I think of Francois Kevorkian. He's up there and he's still doing it. He's still got his Monday nights at Cielo, which is so intimate and so personal and sacred to him, even if whether there's 50 people or 500 people. He loves that Monday night at Cielo in New York City. And I admire that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I don't know how long to go on with this question, but I think that DJs that are doing this more than 20 years, and some closer to 30, without a doubt, I think it's only natural that you start to feel physically and emotionally like, okay,
Yeah.
here we go again. Because I do speak to some DJs, and they just say, damn, man, how do you do it? I'm doing this like 2-3 years, and the traveling and the planes, and missing my family, and I don't know how you do it. And then you play these long sets. How do you do it? Like, I don't know. It's not drugs, I assure you. It's not. It's the pure love and passion I have for it.
Yeah. So what is going to happen to the Loft? So the Loft is staying, right? You're not going to sell the Loft, surely.
Well, right now, I think that in a spiritual way, like I was saying before, once I hit send on the post, not knowing what was going to happen, it's like as if that the expression, when you close one door, another opportunity opens. And I think that that's what's been happening to me, is that what I was trying to tell people was that I wasn't retiring. I just really wanted to take a break from the overseas traveling, because that was also affecting me in what my desire to want to continue producing. I'm never able to be consistent enough in the studio to really complete a track anymore, or compose or co-produce, co-write, because it's always again, oh, it's time to go. My studio's here in New York. I don't really have a studio in Miami. So it was all about staying local. And once I made that decision, then I started getting wonderful opportunities to do shows that are local between New York, Pasha, Stereo in Canada, even though it's another country, I consider it, like another state. And many opportunities coming my way, including other forms of business possibilities that, that I was saying, there has to be more to me inside here than just playing records.
Well,
I use the expression playing records. And I definitely desire to do something else with my life. And if it's teaching and, giving of myself in that way. See, when I was talking about doing a DJ school, one of the things that I was frowning upon myself about was like, well, I may have done many remixes, but I've always hired engineers and programmers. I was pretty okay with the keyboards and coming up with bass lines and hooks and samples and drum machines. But I never locked into the stuff that I bought, Vision, Performer, Logic, Pro Tools. I keep buying all the software, but I hire people that know how to use it. And so I was thinking, well, what could I possibly teach these people? I can't teach them how to use Ableton or all these things because I don't really know how to craft it. But then I realized, well, maybe I do have something to offer to these kids. And maybe that's because if they're all learning how to be a DJ, whether it's Tractor, Serato, Final Scratch, Ableton, they can learn technically how to master the applications and all the software. But maybe I can teach them how to entertain and how to feel what the people are feeling and how to, just get the right vibe and just, I guess it's almost like, what am I trying to say? It's like just mentor them and I guess a lot of questions would even come up. So maybe I could sort of like give a course in mentoring DJs because I've been doing this for so many years. So talking about maybe what to do, what not to do kind of things. And that might be a motivational. And then as it goes along, I think will flow. And maybe I could definitely teach some tricks with DJing and stuff and beat matching and talk about days of mixing with 45s and LPs and live drummer to live drummer, as opposed to today, you hit the sync button, which, by the way, I've still yet to use a laptop in a DJ booth. I still don't know how to use Tractor or nothing. But I plan on learning it. And this is another thing about stopping is like I have not come up for air to even myself learn how to properly do it. If I'm going to do it, you got to do it right. And I'm still obsessed with like doing it the old school way with the 2 CD decks and the looping features. And I still prefer a Yuri rotary mixer. But so this is another reason why I've been wanting to stop to get more consistent in my studio, learn more applications myself, whether it's Machine or Ableton. I want to be able to better my sets and try to keep up with what a lot of the other jocks are doing around the world. I'm really impressed with guys like Richie Hawtin, Dubfire, Chris Liebing. I watch them like, holy shit, I want to do this too. Yeah. But when will I ever learn it? How can I ever learn it if I'm always working?
Well, I think that's probably the most amazing thing that people can get from this is that you resigning actually means you're just going to focus on getting better and getting more technology savvy, which suggests to me that if the new era is we have to come back to New York to hear Tenaglia play just like we used to have to do in the mid-90s, then I think that's a great thing.
Well, the resigning part was, and again, I probably should have, I didn't want to say taking a leave of absence because that would have sounded wrong because I still did have a schedule ahead of me. I don't want people to think I was going for some, breast surgery.
Believable.
And it was the whole thing that with my company name is Detour Inc., like DTOUR, and I've had that for over 10 years now. And I just thought that was what that was about, the traveling and the loft and the DJ gigs. And I figured if I resign from that and come up with a new name of a company, and then thinking that maybe I could do a DJ school or something that that's what resigning meant, that it was going to resign from Detour Inc., start something new, and definitely consolidate, especially with overseas traveling. But I didn't have enough time to properly craft my words. I was late for an appointment, and it's like as if God put it on my heart that no matter what you're going to say, you got to say it now or you're not. I procrastinated from doing it for a while. From just saying, how do I tell them I need to stop? I need to take a break.
If there's one thing you've learned, Danny, you've learned about the dangers of social media when you press send. So, okay. Well, look, I think we're going to have to wrap up here now, but I think everybody in this room would like to wish you all the best. We know.
All right. Can I take you on a quick tour down the hallway?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
I want to show you why you feel the passion of what I put about.
Can we see
So
Kevin
we're going
as
to call
well?
you from the other computer?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. Awesome. How do I log out here? Okay.
Technology, come on.
Technology.
Now I'm on his computer. Now I go back to mine.
Here we go.
It's for an internal microphone.
Are we there?
Yeah, we can see you.
And I'm going to go to the front entrance.
There's the breasts.
There's the breath.
This would be like the main door. You come in the door. You shut that aircon, please. Thanks. And now where we are is we're in the main office. That's where Kevin sits.
Where is
We got-
Kevin? Can we see Kevin?
Big room. That's where I was just sitting. And we got some artwork and stuff collected over the years. If I go over to the window here, you might be able to see the 59th Street Bridge up there.
Wow.
Upstairs.
Yeah. We'll show you the whole scenario. So here we are
Oh, hold. Oh, yeah, we're back.
approaching.
This is MTV Cribs house music style.
A horse.
The real deal.
Down here, can you see that?
Yeah, yeah.
Like the mirror ball.
So I'm gonna take you my living room first.
Wow.
This is like a lounge that is going on. And some skylights.
Very nice.
Got an original acetate lathe machine over here.
Wow.
It's old school technology. And here's some lights. There's a big studio here. A lot of records, a lot of gear, a lot of vintage synths. There's a lot of records up in this building. Let's see. Shut this light off here.
Wow. Wow. There are actually some amazing photos of this loft on the internet. if you
All
look.
those awards you gave me, Ben.
Yeah, there you go. That was mine. That was mine.
They're all from Ben Turner. Here's my this is my mentor right here, Mr. Maroda.
Wow. He's coming here on Friday, by the way.
I know, Kevin just told me. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Now I'm missing it. So that's the studio. Back in the lounge. Got some closets for storage.
You're going to have to do a few more gigs in Ibiza to keep this up, I think.
We got to do a party here. This is our little kitchen zone. I put the ball on the wall. You'll see why I can't let this place go.
Wow. Jesus. This is the nightclub, right? Wow. Where's the sound system from?
From vinyl.
This is from vinyl.
Wow.
Stage.
Man. Is Eddie Dean in this room? He'll
You
be
see me
buying this.
good?
Yeah, incredible. Incredible, Danny.
Yeah. And now we go up on the stage here. I'm down into this room.
This is the VIP area.
This is where my record collection is.
Jesus.
This is a whole nother record room.
Wow.
I got an elephant. More records.
I mean, no, Danny, knowing you the way that I have over the years, I know this whole building was your dream. You know, there's just, I don't think anyone could imagine you letting go of this.
Yeah. We're going to take you on one more tour.
Yes,
I'll
Kevin.
show you, everybody, the incredible view. Yeah, I can't let this place go, Ben. It's too precious.
Yeah.
And this is the final stop. Watch.
Kevin, stop running away.
So the wireless runs out.
Wow.
Start spreading the news.
Amazing. Well, there you go.
I was born 1 mile away from here. Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Right now I can see the Williamsburg Bridge from here. But this is it. This is my happy space.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's hard to get this on
you
the
look-
road, so.
You look very happy there, Danny. Thank you so much for sharing this with us and showing us inside your personal space. You know, a lot of people in this room have a lot of love for you, so
Right back down.
we're not going to let you stop easily. Okay?
Thank you so much, Ben. Thank all of you. I love you guys. You've been
Thank you.
Thank you.